perfect understanding of geopolitics, right? Never been wrong about any situation ever, except every single situation ever. This is a guy who said Russia would never invade Ukraine a week before the invasion.
We did it successfully. We stopped Vladimir Putin from invading Ukraine. Or maybe that was never gonna fucking happen. Like I said, it was never gonna fucking happen.
Like, how does anyone actually take him seriously? You know, I got a recommendation. Let us personally send Hassan to Gaza. You know, he can negotiate with Hamas himself because they would love to meet their number one fan, of course. Their number one gladiator. So you are pro-war. I thought we all agreed that U.S. intervention sucks. One call from Trump to bringing a federal investigation for enabling terrorism. No, we can't be talking about that, right? We can't be talking about Twitch and their anti-Semitism. That's a bit too far. One Twitch promo-ban could solve the Hassan problem. Actually true. Hassan is clinically regarded. It's so funny because Yankees like Hassan will say the U.S. intervention in foreign wars is bad, then come around and say this. Like, you can't have it both ways, dude. Anyways, Ethan responded, me when I'm daydreaming in the shower about being a hero, and then everyone actually. Dude, this guy legitimately lives in fantasy land. He's kind of like XQC if he wasn't, right? You know when XQC has these ridiculous takes, but he's obviously like joking. The difference is Hassan actually believes what he says. Hey guys, why don't we just have America should just call China and be like, stop it right now, guys. We should get along, guys. Truly revolutionary, actually. Anyways, he started on stream as well, and then he started crashing out at while getting rage baited by chat.
What? Sorry, cut off on my curious. He's making military. Bernard! That's definitely getting. Oh no, I'm gonna do the flip simp where I say if Israel refuses to abide by American sanctions, they'll get invaded militarily. Oh no, you can clip it, you can share it, your mom, you can say that for those who have said for months, you're a terrorist, you're a terrorist, you're a terrorist, you're a anti-Semite, you're anti-Semite, you're anti-Semite. A lot of them are quiet now because they know I was right.
Okay, who is right now and what exactly were you right about? We're on episode 80 of Hassan is a fucking loser here. Nobody was quiet about anything except your buddy Mike from PA who got fucking banned.
Jewish is not an ethnicity. It's constructed ethnicity. It's demonic ethnicity. Wholly invented.
Very shocking. Hassan Orbiter exposed himself as a blatant anti-Semite. Bro literally said this part out loud and went after Jews. This is your orbiter. This is your God. This is the people you support. And essentially, you kind of messed it up for you guys because you guys are perfectly fine getting away with this sort of rhetoric and being like, well, actually, we're kind of everybody knows what you actually mean. Absolute freak. And I said this last time. I was like, okay, let's see if Hassan actually disavows it, right? That would be an actual positive move for Hassan. It was a very easy move to gain some PR on his channel. The easiest thing in the world would be like, hey, this is bad. I don't support it. You know, I don't support what Mike from PA said there. How he actually responded. Anti-racist hero Hassan Piker, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know what the Mike from PA said. I don't give a shit, okay? And I don't care about what your concern is. Let's be fucking real. You are not concerned. You are just trying to simply farm a clip.
You were just trying to farm a clip. No, we're asking you to disavow an open anti-Semite. Somebody who frequently makes her rounds in your community and is considered a Hassan orbiter. And for some strange reason, you just can't seem to do that. And then you wonder why people actually think you're a Here's the thought, Hassan. Maybe because everything you say and do aligns with that sort of logic. You cannot condemn actual terrorists. Of course he ain't gonna condemn Mike from PA, bro. The easiest W thrown directly your way. The easiest way to be like, that's bad, guys. I can't believe you said that. Even though it was completely disingenuous, at least you would get some PR points for that. But he can't even do that, which kind of shows that he probably agrees with Mike from PA. Watch the video, or you
to lay the groundwork for its upcoming sequel, the 1980s. America celebrated its 200th year as several prominent figures from the first half of the 20th century faded into the sunset to make room for the next generation of trend-setting icons and world leaders. After the uncertainty of the previous year, 1977 had some welcome promises of hope for the future, including an exciting new space program and the election of a folksy new president, untarnished by the stain of Watergate. But it wasn't all floral prints and disco. Unrest and injustice were still rampant around the globe, and the streets of New York City would be darkened by the arrival of one of history's most notorious criminals. We're going to talk about the news, culture, sports, and entertainment, and all that was weird in the 70s. This is Timeline. You talking to me? Because this episode is all about 1976. But before we get started, subscribe to the Weird History Channel and let us know in the comments below your favorite 70s fashion trend. Now don't get too close to that Pinto, because this is 1976. The year kicked off with the moving of a national monument. The Liberty Bell was relocated from Philadelphia's Independence Hall to a newly constructed pavilion a short distance away in Independence National Historic Park on January 1st. In celebration of America's bicentennial. Bit of a sad gift. Nobody wants to reorganize their antiques on their 200.
Hey, what's up?
The Liberty Bell has remained in its.
Yeah, they're in my lap fighting. This has been going on for like 45 minutes now. Oh, I figured I'd get up and I'd work on my base for a while because there was no way in hell I was going to be able to sleep.
She passed away of natural causes at her home, Winterbrook House, at the age of 85.
But yeah, they've been going at it for a while.
Influential mystery writer to ever put pen to paper, and remains one of the best-selling authors of all time.
Oh, finally. Well, she's hiding under here, ready to pounce.
Even the way I did it was difficult.
Sure.
Well, look, man, it's not easy working with a dummy.
The doomed supersonic airliner Concorde took its first commercial flight on January the 21st. 2 flights departed simultaneously from London's Heathrow Airport and France's Orly Airport, bound for Bahrain and Rio de Janeiro, respectively. Although the high-speed plane could carry passengers across the Atlantic in less than half the time, the Concorde never managed to catch on. 16 of the planes were sold and were used exclusively to fly from London and New York until July 20th, 2000, when an Air France Concorde crashed shortly after takeoff, claiming the lives of over 100 passengers and crew.
You could hear to see the black smoke, and you could see tremendous flames coming out the back.
The Concorde never recovered and took its final commercial flight just over 3 years later on October 24th, 2003.
Yeah, but I'm way early. I don't even know what time it is.
Well, what do you suggest? Flap my arms real hard and head toward the window?
Finishing out the month, future Dana Carvey impersonation, George H.W. Bush became the director of the CIA on the 30th.
My phone's dead.
Anybody dumb enough
That's
to
not
accept
good.
the job is too dumb to do it.
Bush had previously served 2 terms in the House
Oh,
of
it's
Representatives.
not even 6
and was
o'clock
a
yet.
UN ambassador under Richard Nixon. But he wouldn't hang on to the CIA gig for long. Bush resigned from the position exactly 1 year later, following the election of President Jimmy Carter. Geez, George, let us know how you really feel. Moving into February, Nobel Prize-winning physicist Werner Heisenberg passed into the theoretical plane on the 1st. Heisenberg is credited as the father of quantum mechanics, including the famous uncertainty principle, which bears his name. But he was also a man of some dubious distinction. He was instrumental in developing Germany's nuclear program during World War II, as well as inspiring a certain New Mexico chemistry teacher 3 decades later.
Say my name.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Yep, there, that's...
You talking to me?
Rebel Without a Cause actor Sal Mineo was fatally wounded by a knife-wielding mugger on February 12th. He had been returning home from rehearsals for an upcoming play when he was attacked while parking his car behind his apartment. Mineo succumbed
Yeah, I got a new machine gun, too.
at the age of 37.
I'm excited about it.
Delivery driver named Lionel Ray Williams was convicted of the
There's a
crime and
breakfast
sentenced to life in
Baconator?
prison, but was paroled in 1990.
Why is this the first I'm hearing about this?
The next day, American figure skating
I might
champion
have to go
Dorothy
get a
Hay took
Wendy's
home the gold
breakfast
medal for ladies
Baconator.
singles at the 1976 Winter
What the
Olympics
hell
in
is a
Kingsburg,
breakfast
Austria.
Baconator?
Hamel's medal-winning performance included her signature move, a camel spin into a sit spin dubbed the Hamel Camel.
I don't even know why Wendy's does breakfast.
We'll be right back.
Dorothy Hamill for Clairol, short and sassy.
The longest it was about just to the top of my shoulders. Straight bang. Hey, used to pull it back like this. Now it's short hair, I need more body. So I use Clairol Short and Sassy, the conditioner for short hair. Even if it's blow drying, Short and Sassy makes it shiny and gives it body. And let's face it,
I kind of want to go in there and use my new machine gun.
short hair.
Clairol, short and sassy, with twice the protein of the leading conditioner.
For the short and sassy look.
Hurtling into March, the largest observed meteorite in history fell to Earth near Jilin City in China during a massive meteor shower on the 8th.
Well, I'm going to make my own breakfast. I know that.
Nearly 4,000 pounds, or roughly the same as one.
I got Crockett's ham. I got everything bagels.
It remains the biggest observed meteor to strike the planet. Heavy, man. The Who's
And I got provolone cheese.
Keith Moon collapsed in the middle of a show at the Boston Gardens on March 9th. The English
I would have had bacon, but the bacon was too expensive. I'm not paying $5 a pound for bacon. I don't even pay $5 a pound for steak.
That Moon had suffered a near fatal overdose of booze and prescription pills. Moon bounced back in time to play a makeup show a month later, but his luck would run out before the end of the decade. More on that in 2 years. 2 weeks later, Argentine President
I will probably get up in a little bit to make coffee, though.
on the 24th. Perón, the third wife of former President Juan Perón, took office after her husband's death in 1974, during a period of extreme
I need to go
socio-political
sell a bunch of crap.
Jorge Rafael Videla, the general who led the military junta against Perón, controlled Argentina for the next several years, in a reign notorious for human rights abuses and one of the worst financial crises in the nation's history. Booting up April, Apple Computer was founded in Los Altos, California, by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne on the first. Their first product, the Apple I, was designed and built by Wozniak, entirely by hand. Jobs, a college dropout with no background in computing, set up the company in his parents' garage. He had an idea that the personal computer, which at the time was considered an extremely niche item for hobbyists, could become the indispensable product of the future. Stay tuned to see how that works out for him. Or just check out the logo on whatever device you're using to watch this video. Pretty good. Might be a piece of
Yeah, I didn't expect to get anybody to watch me this early.
artist Max Ernst packed away his
I'm actually surprised you're here. I was just gonna come in.
If you bring me a cold one, I might give
I
you
figured,
a
since I'm playing, I might as well,
fathers of Dadaism and Surrealism.
might as
What's the
well
matter? Can't find
broadcast
what
it.
you're looking for?
Charles Manson, the father, his family, and their legacy of Helter Skelter. Now, Lorimar Productions brings to full life Helter Skelter.
All right, now that we're done doing business, get out of my store.
Renowned industrialist, aviator, and film producer.
Yeah, I was just gonna work on the base.
On April 5th at age 70.
I want
One
to
of
see
the
how
most
big I could
powerful
get it.
and influential figures of the 20th century, Hughes spent the final decade of his life in extreme seclusion as a result of his declining mental and physical health. In fact, Hughes was so secretive during those last years that many didn't believe he had actually died, and conspiracy theories about the billionaire supposedly faking his death circulated for years.
Follow the money. We meet. Oh, I can't tell you that.
Staying with books, literary horror author Anne Rice published her debut novel, Interview with a Vampire.
I gotta go in
on
there and
April
sell some
12th.
more crap.
The book was the first installment of Rice's popular Vampire Chronicles series, and would go on to sell over 8 million copies.
Yeah, I don't eat out
Eventually
much.
adapted into a 1994 film
I
of
would get the
same
Baconator,
name,
though.
starring
That sounds
Tom
good.
Cruise
A
and
breakfast
some unknown
Baconator.
actor named Brad Pitt.
Egg, a shitload of bacon.
Barbara Barbara Walters
Dude,
made
basically, if it's
broadcast
just a
history
burger
10
with
days
bacon and
later,
egg on it.
when she became the first
Like,
female anchor of a nightly network
if you ever go to
newscast on the
Denny's, get a
22nd.
slam
Walter
burger.
would
It's
co-anchor
got bacon,
ABC
egg, and hash
with
browns
Harry
on it.
Reasoner for the next 2 years, until a visible on-air tension between the two led her to leave the show.
It's
in
fucking awesome. I love that
1978.
burger.
But don't worry, she landed on her feet.
You got money this time, or you just here to piss me off?
Just here to piss you off.
The 20th century.
We'll be right back.
Radio Shack has the perfect gift for pedal pushers. The famous Archer bicycle radios that let you play Santa for as little
No
as
refunds.
$9.95.
Deal's
Or
done.
the original
Now,
Patrol
beat
radio
it,
with built-in
fucker.
horn and reflector. Or really make them happy with this deluxe AM/FM model. All three disconnect quickly for safekeeping or off-bike use. Low cost Archer bike radios. Only at Radio Shack. A Tannen company.
Former Yardbirds frontman Keith Relf accidentally electrocuted himself with his guitar on May 14th, passing away at age 33.
Oh, it's
Relf
4
had
days
been
before my
wheeling
birthday.
around with his instrument in the basement when he stepped on a gas pipe. Because his guitar wasn't grounding, the
Oh,
contact
look,
from that
another
pipe
dumbass
sent a fatal
stumbling
electric
into
current
my
through his
shop.
body. Ralph left behind an enduring music legacy with the Yardbirds, where he played alongside future giants Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, and Eric Clapton.
Don't let the door hit you on your way out.
The Who played the loudest concert in recorded history at the time on the last day of May. The show, played at the Valley Stadium in Charlton, London, thrashed out an eardrum-destroying 126 decibels at a distance of 100 feet from the stage. For reference, a jet engine clocks in at around 150 decibels. Guess we know why Tommy was deaf. The concert earned The Who the nickname the loudest band in the world. Controversial billionaire and Timeline recurring character J. Paul Getty kicked the extremely wealthy bucket on the 6th of June. The abduction of Getty's grandson, J. Paul Getty III, and Getty's subsequent refusal to pay his grandson's ransom had dominated headlines 3 years earlier. An avid art collector, Getty left a sizable chunk of his massive fortune, still considered to be one of the largest personal fortunes in history, to the J. Paul Getty Museum in Los Angeles, California.
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
It's time for the family feud.
Sexy garment worn by women. 3 answers remain.
How about high boots?
Tells me a little more about you than the old high boot. Sure.
Baseball legend Hank Aaron hit the final home run of his storied career on the 20th of July. Aaron swatted his 755th dinger while playing for the Milwaukee Brewers in a game against the California Angels. He hung up his bat at the end of the 1976 season, but would continue in Major League Baseball as an executive for the Atlanta Braves, where he had played for most of his career. Finishing out July, a notorious name claimed his first victim on the 29th. 18-year-old Donna Loria and 19-year-old Jody Valenti were sitting in a car just after 1 a.m. when a strange man approached them and opened fire with a .44 caliber pistol. Loria perished instantly, but Valenti survived and gave a description of her attacker. The murderer would come to be known as the Son of Sam, coined in a series of letters emailed to police, and would terrorize New York City for an entire year. Kicking off August, the Seattle Seahawks took the field for the first time in a preseason game against the San Francisco 49ers. The Seahawks
I think you should order a Baconator.
expand the NFL from 26 to 28 teams. The other team was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who finished their inaugural 1976 season at 0-14. First team in history to finish the season without a single win, under the leadership of head coach and genuine zinger machine, John Kay. On the same day in Stanley sports, famed Formula One driver Niki Lauda suffered a shocking crash at the German Grand Prix. Lauda's car went off the track on a sharp curve and caught fire, with Lauda trapped inside. Italian driver Arturo Mercario managed to pull him out, but not before Lauda suffered severe burns that resulted in the loss of both pilots. Everyone was so certain Lauda's ticket had been punched that he was actually given last rites at the hospital. But the driver made a full recovery and returned to racing just 6 weeks later.
We'll be right back.
Astonishing Clarity. Touch again. Odyssey, America's favorite home video game. Why settle for just color TV when now you can have a built-in home video game too? Only from Magnavox.
Oh, wait, man. Look. Come on back here.
Yeah, I gotta see that. Was that an Odyssey commercial?
Don't tell me you're afraid, little brother.
All right, Rod, you tell him. He's afraid. Thank you, Rod.
Game Clarity. One touch and it's Magnavox Color TV with a color picture of astonishing clarity. Touch again and it's Odyssey, America's favorite home video game. Why settle for just color TV?
I had an Odyssey
You can have a
too.
built-in home video game too. Only from Magnavox.
Oh, wait, man. Look, Millie will be here in case Steve comes on back here. Now, come on, let's get going. Say what?
I'm not going out there alone at night.
Don't tell me you're afraid, little brother.
All right, Rod, you tell him. He's afraid. Thank you, Rod.
Esteemed television journalist Tom Brokaw joined the Today Show on August 30th. Brokaw was co-anchor the show with Jane Pauley for the next 5 years. A relatively new face in news media at the time, Brokaw would go on to become one of the most recognizable and trusted media figures of the 20th century.
Hey, Fonzie, can you get that?
I get it, Kermit. Hello, Muppet Show backstage.
Who was it?
The water department.
Mao Zedong, the chairman of the Chinese Communist Party and one of the most prominent figures of the Cold War, passed away at the wizened age of 82. Initially a staunchy enemy of all things Western, towards the end of his life, Chairman Mao began to view the Soviet Union as a greater threat to China than the United States, and had begun to try and repair relations with America, which had resulted in President Richard Nixon's visit to the communist nation 4 years earlier. The next day, outspoken screenwriter Walter Trumbo dotted his last die, passing away at age 70. Trumbo had been a major figure of the Hollywood blacklist when Congress appointed the House Un-American Activities Committee to investigate the threat of secret communist influence that had allegedly infiltrated the motion picture industry. Trumbo had refused to testify before the committee and was briefly imprisoned. He and several others suspected of being communist agents were blacklisted from working in film for the next 2 decades. 7 days later, NASA unveiled its first space shuttle, appropriately named Enterprise. The $10 billion shuttle was revealed during a ceremony at Rockwell International's manufacturing plant in Palmdale, California, which was attended by the cast of Star Trek. Except for Shatner, he will not be upstaged, even by NASA.
How are you going to
To finish out September, musician Jerry Lee Lewis shot his bass player Butch Owens in the chest on the 29th. But not to finish Owens, who survived what Lewis insisted was an accidental shooting. Lewis was no stranger to unfavorable events. He previously earned stacks of notoriety for marrying his 13-year-old cousin Myra, and for the mysterious demise of 2 of his other wives, including many other run-ins with the law. Do you think there's a reason Lewis was nicknamed the Killer? Speaking of which, the Supreme Court rescinded its ban on the death penalty on the 4th of October. The ban had previously been set 4 years earlier in the case of Furman v. Georgia, in which the court ruled that the death penalty constituted cruel and unusual punishment. However, the capital sentences that had been reduced to life imprisonment by the ban weren't reinstated, most notably that of Charles Manson. Now, there's some luck, Chuck. 2 days later, terrorists attacked Cubana Flight 455 while the plane was en route to Jamaica from Barbados. 2 bombs detonated mid-flight, plunging the aircraft into the sea and claiming the lives of all 73 people on board, including all 24 members of Cuba's national fencing team, who had just swept the Central American and Caribbean Championships. Officially, the attack was attributed to the group the Coordination of United Revolutionary Organizations, although rumors swirled that the CIA may have been involved. Speaking of frightening developments, the Ebola virus was identified for the first time under a microscope on the unluckiest day of the spookiest month. CDC President Frederick A. Murphy took a look at what he thought was a sample of Marburg virus from Zaire, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, only to see the now famous shepherd's crook ship. According to the World Health Organization, the virus has a mortality rate of anywhere from 45 to 90%, and there have been over 24 outbreaks of Ebola since its discovery.
We'll be right back.
Introduces the brand new Pinto Pony MPG. This 2.3-liter Pinto has a wider stand, more road-hugging weight, and a bigger engine than Datsun E210, Toyota Corolla, Honda, Opel, Fiat, VW Beetle, Rabbit, Dasher, and Chevette. Yet still has EPA estimates of 38 miles per gallon highway, 25 cities. Your mileage may vary. The Pinto Pony MPG. The closer you look, the better we look.
Jimmy Carter was elected the 39th President of the United States on November 2nd. Carter, the Democratic governor of Georgia, narrowly defeated incumbent Gerald Ford, who, after escaping 2 assassination attempts the previous year, was probably relieved to get his job.
I don't know what to do about the depression and the depression and the Russians and the crying in the streets. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being.
In mid-November, Spain's parliament voted in favor of establishing a democracy after nearly 4 decades of dictatorship under Francisco Franco. The vote, which passed 429 to 59, dismantled Franco's fascist government almost 1 year to the day after his death the previous November. The country would hold its first democratic election since 1936 the following June.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. Because you had the talent to become a good fighter. And instead of that, you became a leg breaker. Some cheap second-rate loan shark. To live it? It's a waste of life.
Comic strip Kathy made its debut in newspapers 4 days later, on November the 22nd. The strip, created by an advertising vice president named Kathy Geisweit, poked fun at the daily struggles of being a modern single mother. Kathy would appear in over 1,400 newspapers and be spun off into 3 primetime specials before ending its 34-year run in 2010. By official count, 2 of the many Kathy comic strips that were produced were honestly funny. Popular Canadian-American rock group The Band held their farewell concert on Thanksgiving Day at San Francisco's Winterland Ballroom. Dubbed The Last Waltz, the concert featured guest appearances by several other famous musicians, including Bob Dylan, Joni Mitchell, Erica Clapton, Muddy Waters, and Ringo Starr. In addition to providing turkey dinners for all 5,000 concert attendees, the show was filmed by an up-and-coming filmmaker named Martin Scorsese and released as a documentary film 2 years later. Moving into December, the cigar's most famous brand ambassador, Fidel Castro, became president of Cuba on the 2nd. Previously serving as prime minister of Cuba
I gotta
since
listen to
1959,
something better.
You know, I'm so torn because I would like to see the new mayor do well because I love New York. I really love New York. When I left New York for Washington, New York was doing really well, but there were some bad signs. The bad sign was I got to de Blasio. So the signs of de Blasio, that was the beginning, and it was bad. This one, we're going to, look, for 1,000 years, communism has not worked. It just, communism or the concept of communism has not worked. I tend to doubt it's going to work this time. Did you see his victory speech? No, it's literally never worked. Yeah, I thought it was a very angry speech. Certainly angry toward me, and I think he should be very nice to me. You know, I'm the one that sort of has to approve a lot of things coming to him, so he's off to a bad start.
All right, y'all, we are back with another video. I definitely had to bring y'all this. Seems like a lot of these Mundunny voters in New York City found out that they've been lied to. We've been trying to warn everybody in New York who was voting that all he was doing was telling a lie. And we got a lot of people, especially Democrats, that never regretting putting this man in the mayor. So they was all Schumer, AOC, all running was promising with free buses, free food, won't have to pay rent, grocery stores, promising all this. And then this man came out with a video saying that he wants the same people he was going to get to donate to him and his partner. So now he's asking New Yorkers for money. And he said he was going to promise people free stuff if you voted for him. And he's trying to warn everybody that this man is lying. You think you're just going to be living somewhere for free and not have to pay rent, utility, and all of that? But he was saying that, you know, just to get your vote. And now he comes out with a video. And I told you, after he was elected, all of that was going to change. Go back and look at my recent videos that I was saying. And President Trump snapped his way. We're going to get to what President Trump snapped about. But right now, Mondani voters just find out that they've been lied to. That's just what it is. So please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support. And shout out to the one that always watches the entire video. I appreciate all of you that do that because it definitely helps get the video get President Trump's message out there. So please let me know down below in the comment section that at the end of this video, because like I said, it definitely helps get the message out there, and I appreciate all of the support. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive straight into it, y'all. So let's start it off with this before we get to Zoran scam done. So by President Trump dropped this. Democrats will terminate the filibuster the first chance they get. Check out what President Trump has to say.
Remember, Republicans, regardless of the Schumer shutdown, the Democrats will terminate the filibuster the first chance they get. They will pack the Supreme Court of the United States, pick up 2 states, that's a lot of states, and add at least 8 electoral votes. The 2 objectors are gone, remember? Sinema and Manchin, they're gone. Don't be weak, don't be stupid, Republicans. Fight, fight, fight. Win, win, win. We will immediately end the extortionist shutdown, get all of our agenda passed, and make life so good for Americans that these deranged Democrat politicians will never again have the chance to destroy America. They tried to destroy the country. Republicans, you will rue the day that you didn't terminate the filibuster. Be tough, be smart, and win. This is much bigger than the shutdown. This is the survival of our country. Terminate the filibuster, and let's live the great life that this country is capable of living.
And not only that, we had got another message, and especially, pretty much trying to question if he'll, seek re-election, and we already just, pretty much, what Nancy Pelosi is going to do. So we just found out that she is going to retire. Nancy Pelosi is done. So now everybody's talking about it. Tim Burchett is retirement. So where am I going to stop this? Tim Burchett is truly a national treasure. So salute to him. So then you see right here, President Trump says that President Trump is the filibuster within the first hour. The next they have control of the Senate, and we later said that Democrats already came out and said, they will get back in power. That's exactly what they're going to do. And that's the reason why President Trump is telling them to do this. So hopefully the Republican senators listen to what President Trump's saying, because he already telling me if you don't do it, the Democrats are going to do it anyway. So you need to go ahead and do it now. And then you check out what Senator Rick Scott said. He said, Rick Scott demanded Congress immediately pass his bill to halt all paychecks to members of Congress while the government remains shut down. And I told y'all this before. If it would have had anything to do with AOC check, Hakeem Jeffrey, that dollar for Barack Obama, Jasmine Crockett, like if this right here, this shutdown had anything to do with them not getting paid, they would have never shut it down. And that's the reason why Rick Scott is now demanding that Congress pass his bill for all paycheck members of Congress while the government shut down, they won't get it done. He said it makes zero sense that members of Congress are still getting paid while Democrats continue to shut down and deprive our troops and federal law enforcement of their paychecks. And I agree 100% that he definitely should do that. So y'all can know what y'all think about that down below in the comment section. Now here you go right here. This liar, Zoran scam done. And I told you, we made a video. I the video trying to let you know that this man gonna scam Dunny because he's gonna get up free stuff. He's gonna freeze my rent. We're gonna get free groceries. We're gonna get ain't nothing free. And now this man make a video pretty much shocking his supporters by many things cannot be free. And now not the point that it can't be free, now he asking you for money. New Yorkers, he want your money. Everybody that voted for him, he want your money. And he tells you this, look at this. Okay, go run money. His supporters by the minute things cannot be free. Remember how I told you to stop? This is what he said in the video, but we're gonna play the video. He said, remember how I told you to stop sending me money? You can start again. I hope you will make a donation. But this is from the man that said, I'm going to give you things free, but now he wants your money. Imagine that. He's one big scam, begging the working class to fund his transition. And listen to him a bit.
Last night we made history. Today we need to work to take a new entire areas of government, and the commissioners who carry out the critical work. These appointments will be driven by excellence, integrity, and hunger to solve real problems for producers. Talking to organizers on the front lines of the fight for New York City, government veterans of freedom traffic, policy experts from around the country and world, and working people who know better than any of our neighborhood. And this will be a series of the campaign we ran in the city halls of Congress to fight because New Yorkers deserve a government. On January 1st, I will be your mayor. New Year's Day, a new era for this city. Oh, and one more thing. Remember I told you if you want to go to stop sending us money? You can start it. This transition requires facts, research, and an infrastructure.
This man said, you remember when I told y'all to stop sending me money, and we found out the reason why he told New Yorkers to stop sending him money because he was getting paid, getting his campaign funded by George Soros and George Soros. They funded him $40 billion for his campaign. That's why he didn't need money from New Yorkers. Now, since he's been elected, now he gonna tell his own supporters who he promised free stuff to. You remember when I told you to stop giving me money? Yeah, you can start back with a grin as if it's funny. Like, this is insane. Look at this.
Call the Congress. Because New Yorkers deserve a government they can trust. On January 1st, I will be your mayor. New Year's Day, and a new era for this city. Oh, and one more thing. Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again. This transition requires staff, research, and infrastructure this month. And it will be made possible by the people who build and believe in this movement. So I hope you make a donation at transition2025.com.
I hope you make a donation to Transition 2025. Not only you paying him, but you paying his transition team. I mean, absolutely. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy that this man promised free buses, free this, free that, and now he want money. This is crazy. So this right here, it says Stephen A. Smith drops a major truth nuke on Zoran Mondani. Check out what he said.
I'm gonna tell you why I'm not happy about it. I like Mondani. I'm looking forward to interviewing him. He's promised to be on this show. But I'm very, very concerned about some of the things that he said. I'm very concerned about what he once said about the funding of the police. I'm calling 911. I'm being real. I'm calling 911. That's what I'm doing. I don't want to see less police officers. I want to see more police officers. I heard him talk about mental health experts in the subway system. I don't care about that. I want cops in the subways in New York City, where I was born and raised. Born in the Bronx, raised in the Queens. That's what I was saying. Mental health experts in subways. Nah, I'm not trying to hear that, okay? 2% tax on the rich. Okay, fine. 7.5% capital gains tax.
Are they regretting they vote now? Oh, they supported them though.
Free bus.
Free bus.
Free groceries.
Oh.
Really?
Oh.
Really think that's the one?
They regretting they vote.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're at a crossroads in this nation. And there's no way. And the level of vitriol that you see amongst the American citizen is because, God forbid, that you have a difference of opinion. It's not enough to agree. You know, people have to be disagreeable. And you have to be selfish if you're a person that's rich, that's making money, and you don't want to pay your fair share of taxes. Well, When you think about the billionaires in the state, in the city of New York, they make up about 48% in terms of the amount of taxes that they dole out compared to the average American, compared to the rest of New York. And if you're talking about raising their taxes while doing these other things, you're making New York unattractive, not just for residents, but for businesses. And if you make it unattractive for businesses and you don't, and you compromise the ability to be the capitalist that these people are, then they take their businesses elsewhere. So the money that they paid on their homes, on rent, they move out of the city or the state. Businesses follow. And ultimately the tax burden falls on to New Yorkers out there, which means that rent freezes, which is also something that Mamdani pushed. Is that really going to be plausible? Or you
look at her, like freezing, rent, free buses, all of this stuff. And now Democrats are starting to already, you know what I'm saying, losing over this. They regretting, they vote for him. This is what y'all voted for. This man ran on free stuff and lied to everybody and tricked everybody. He tricked everybody in New York. Everybody who voted for this man, he tricked y'all. I just showed y'all some video. This man now asking you who voted for him for money, and he the one promising you free stuff. So now he won't, and like I said, he don't want just money for him. He wants you to pay him and his transition team.
You really gonna be able to freeze rent? Or you gonna end up hiking? Because you don't have enough people here to pay it. Tax revenue, where you getting that from? See, these are all the kind of things that we have to connect the dots and ask ourselves, 1 + 1, does it equal 2? Is it really plausible that these things are gonna happen?
Oh.
According to Dear Hopeful, 90% of the stuff Mamdani said he can't do on his own. He got to come through her in the state legislature in order to get it done. Is he going to be able to do that?
Nope.
What level of support is he going to have outside of young whippersnappers out there who love him and are so in love with his personality and everything else that they didn't really dot the I's and cross the T's and look at actual policies and the kind of effect it's going to have on New York? That's what I'm worried about. I hope I'm wrong. Because talking to him, I like him. I'm looking forward to sitting down and interviewing with him. I just want to know where the money's coming from. See, I count. Okay, I count. And I can't tell you how many.
It don't surprise me that Stephen A. Smith likes this guy. He likes a lie. A man who's up there lied to get elected by, I'm going to give y'all free stuff, free buzzes. And he got tons of interviews of people so happy they didn't really have a reason why they were voting for him. Like, oh, I'm going to vote for him because I'm going to get free stuff. He's going to freeze my rent. That's the only reason I'm voting for him. It's just absolutely insane.
Who are you voting for mayor?
I am voting Mamdani.
And why?
Because he's the most obvious choice.
What makes him the obvious choice for you?
It's just like, I'm trying to think. This reminds me of a certain comedy sketch where the comedian was like, we could either vote in one guy and he's gonna give everybody free houses, free rent, and he's gonna give everybody a Lamborghini, or we could vote in somebody who's gonna burn down the city. That's why I'm voting Mamdani, because I'm voting for the guy who give me the Lamborghini.
Yeah, so you think Mamdani's like just gonna give you guys everything?
Not everything. I'm saying it's the most obvious choice.
What do you think is gonna happen with government grocery stores and free buses? Do you think that sounds like a good idea?
That does sound like a good idea.
And freezing the rent?
That does sound like a good idea.
What if they have to freeze the rent to the point where eventually the landlord's not able to get a dishwasher and make profit on his own lease?
That's their problem.
Young teenagers, it could be brothers, it could be nieces and nephews, it could be friends and family members and relatives of folks along that age gap. And you're asking the same question. And you know what you come up with? The people who love Mamdani the most are not people who pay bills every day. I'm not saying that applies to everybody. I'm not implying that. But they certainly not people that pay bills every day all the time. You don't see business owners clamoring to support them. I'm just saying these things are important to bring up.
Boy. Like I said, they sound like they regretting that vote. Now, I knew it was going to happen. Look at this. New Yorkers on Zorro scammed up. Say Diddy and Gotti didn't even know that he won. But check this out.
Did he win, by the way?
He won.
They chose a knucklehead, so we're gonna pay for it.
What happens if he opens up the government-run grocery stores?
No.
Oh, you don't like government-run grocery stores? $30 minimum wage. Can you explain how?
Let's go.
How would you
speech at all. And it kind of shocked me that coming from CNN. I thought they'll love it. Check it out.
I think we missed an opportunity. I think the Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail was a lot more calm, was a lot warmer, was a lot more embracing. TikTok and the great interviews and stuff like that. So I felt like it was a little bit of open embracing guy. People was not some other voice that said he's very young. He's very young. And I really want that to miss an opportunity to open himself up tonight. That will probably cost him going.
Wow. See what like some of the people saying that I'm ready to vote. And like I said, I had showed this video the other day of Byron Donalds, born in New Yorker. He's communist. You ain't nothing going to be free in like government.
When you put in communist and yes, communist policies, that's what Zoran Mamdani is talking about. It never works. Trying to do is promise everybody something that they can't have. Yep. And the truth is there is no free lunch, just like there's no free bus. Because you know what happens when you have a free bus? There's nobody there to fix it or to drive it. He knows that, I know that, you know that. America does know it, and it's unfortunate. The city of New York, my former city, is probably going to have to go through this.
And that's exactly what they're going to have to do. This is what Byron Donalds had warned. Seemed like a lot of New Yorkers did not want to listen. I guess, you know, they thought they pretty much believed this guy, and I kept saying over and over in videos. He's lying.
So when Mamdani fails, is it going to be real communism?
To stand up to him. It's like his whole demeanor changed. And then he drop a video, you know, pretty much talking about what he's going to do. And it's just insane. So like I said, and I do want y'all to check out what Patrick had to say about, you know, New York. What y'all going to do now?
So now that Mamdani won, say nobody. You're wrong. A lot of people will. But you know what type of people? Let's go through it together. You think job creators are moving to New York City? Probably not. You think investors are moving to New York City? Probably not. You think families who want safety for their kids and the criminals to be kept into prison are going to be going to New York City? No. People that are pro-Second Amendment, safety, those pastors are going to be moving to New York City? No. But who will be moving to New York City? If you're a criminal, think about it. He wants to let people out of prison. Guess what? I'm not telling you to move there, but it's a great policy. If you're somebody that doesn't want to work at all, and you just want entitlement programs, this is a massive opportunity to move to New York City. Massive. Entitlement program. Raised by a rich family, mom made money, dad's made money. Entitled. It's kind of cool. So guess what? To all the criminals, those who want entitlement programs, and illegal immigrants, you officially have a great city to move to. It's called New York City.
Oh, there y'all go right there. So like, please hit the like button, challenge. Shout out to everybody for so much support. Now, shout out to one of y'all. I really appreciate it. We'll keep y'all up to date as more things come out. And like I said, man, New Yorkers, and even like CNN, all these people feel like they just been lied to. They've been tricked. So like I said, thank you all for watching. And I'll catch y'all in the next one.
It's time for Lefties Losing It, and we do talk about MSNBC a lot in this segment. It is the mental asylum masquerading as a work. We have an embarrassment of lefties losing it. Victims there, Rachel Maddow, Scarborough, Kawasaki, and the guy, Lawrence O'Donnell, who often gets overlooked because, let's be honest, he's quite boring. But it's demented at that time. Remember this guy?
Stop the hammering. Stop the hammering. Who's got a hammer? Where is it? Where's the hammer?
Where's the hammer? Where is the hammer? Let's look at Lawrence O'Donnell's outfit. He goes on a wacky $3 grand. Imagine what sort of feeling do you have to do with CNN? CNN is too pro-Trump.
CNN is already owned by a left-wing Trump supporter and has itself to the right away in that nation. That's why Jim Costa and others know.
Oh, look at them. They're both sleeping now. They go wake me up with the battle royale, and now they both go to sleep.
Virulently anti-Trump day and night, and the so-called liar that Lawrence claims is degrading the station is often the lone conservative on panels of 4 or 5 pundits all leaning left. Yes, this unseemly meltdown was all about Scott Jennings. An MSNBC anchor has lost it because CNN has a lone conservative on some of its panels who provide some level of balance.
Scott Jennings to lie about Donald Trump is money very well spent. Scott Jennings, who used to be an aide to Senator Mitch McConnell, was not always a rabid, lying Trump supporter. When he first started appearing on television, he was capable of criticizing some of the more extreme Trump positions, but Scott Jennings figured out where the money is and how he could get his own podcast and decided to become the J.D. Vance of CNN. And here is the single goofiest thing ever said by anyone in charge of CNN in that network's history. The Lost in America Englishman who heads CNN, said, quote, Scott's like D'Artagnan. He's got his sword out, and he's got about 4 Democrats against him, but he spiked them all off. That's much more like it, I think. He's a worthy opponent, as it were.
Well, that statement is 100% accurate. Scott Jennings does typically take on 4 rabid Democrats at once and comes out on top, not because of lies or playing on emotions, but because he sticks to the cold, hard facts. Something foreign to MSNBC anchors like Lawrence. Now to a teeny agitator, 4'6" Quinn Hobble, who the leftist media like to present as some sort of lovable protester who's being victimised by ICE agents. But the footage suggests otherwise. Let's look at what Quinn has to say when speaking to the media and the behaviour that actually led to his arrest.
Only 4'6", and I can't see. What harm was I going to do to them? People back.
Don't you tell me what to do! You have no idea how much I'd like to beat the shit out of you! Hey!
I decided that I was going to sit. So I was sitting in the grass, and my legs were just barely in the driveway. And they came up, I think there were 6 of them, and they grabbed me, and they started to drag me across the driveway on the ground, and they put their foot on my back, and some part of them on my neck. There's nothing in my being dragged across the ground when you can't see what's happening around you. They call Portland a war zone. The only people that's making it a war zone is ICE.
Let's go back to CNN. A polling expert, Harry Enton, had more bad news for their lefty-losing audience.
You might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's rallying the base of the net approval rating up versus pre-shutdown.
I know there's gonna be a frickin' dog out here. Did you get a Baconator? Fucker! Goddamn bird! God, I always forget to reload my gun. There it is. Come on. See how drunk I could get. Getting drunk at the gun store.
And like you mentioned before, he has been laser focused on the mineral rights deals around the world, including Japan and other nations.
I don't have coffee.
Chokehold around China, the entire periphery around China. He is setting them up to make sure that China is not going to make its influence known in that region.
And look at this reception, and you mentioned the history there, the reception very different to what Joe Biden got.
Man, I'm drunk. I'm drunk and I'm going in the basement of the gun store. This can't end well. With an unloaded gun!
And like I said before repeatedly, like I'm not a terrorist guy. If using terrorism as a tactic versus a strategy, I'm all for it. If you're able to use tariffs to force people to invest in our country, yeah, this is the result of that.
Armin Horowitz, thank you so much for your time. It's time for Lefties Losing It, and we do talk about MSNBC a lot in this segment. It is the mental asylum masquerading as a news network. Of Lefties Losing It, Richards there, Rachel Maddow, Joe Scarborough, Jen Psaki, and this next guy, Lawrence O'Donnell, who often gets overlooked because, let's be honest, he's quite boring. But be no doubt, he's as demented as they come. Remember this goal?
Stop the hammering. Stop the hammering out there. Who's got a hammer? Where is it? Where's the hammer?
Where's the hammer? Where is the hammer? Well, let's look at Lawrence's latest output. Here he goes on a wacky, fact-free rant. And just imagine what sort of a fringe-dwelling loser would be to think CNN is too pro-Trump.
CNN is already owned by a right-wing Trump supporter and has compromised itself accordingly. The firing started right away in that new regime. That's why Jim Acosta is no longer there, and others are no longer there. And everyone who remains has become much more careful in anything they might even think of saying about Donald Trump. And now he eagerly pays a Trump supporter to CNN every day and night for Donald Trump.
Firstly, CNN is owned by Warner Brothers Discovery. It's a publicly traded company. It is virulently anti-Trump day and night. And the so-called liar that Lawrence claims is degrading the station is often the lone conservative on panels of 4 or 5 senators all leaning left. Yes, this unseemly meltdown was all about Scott Jennings. An MSNBC anchor has lost it because CNN has a lone conservative on some of its panels to provide some level of balance.
Paying Scott Jennings to lie about Donald Trump is money very well spent. Scott Jennings, who used to be an aide to Senator Mitch McConnell, was not always a rabid, lying Trump supporter. When he first started appearing on television, he was capable of criticizing some of the more extreme Trump positions, but Scott Jennings figured out where the money is and how he could get his own podcast and decided to become the J.D. Vance of CNN. And here is the single goofiest thing by anyone in charge of CNN in that network's history. The Lost in America Englishman who heads CNN said, but he spiked them all off. That's much more like it, I think. He's a worthy opponent, as it were.
Well, that statement is 100% accurate. Scott Jennings does typically take on 4 rabid Democrats at once and comes out on top, not because of lies or playing on emotions, but because he sticks to the cold, hard facts. Something foreign to MSNBC anchors like Lawrence. Now to a teeny tiny little agitator, 4'6", quick hobble. The leftist media love to present some level of protest
But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been up a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that rank actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't changed. Come over this side of the screen, look at the net approval rating for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So we're seeing here the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the map that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at.
Yes, Republicans and independents are not blaming the Republicans for Schumer's shutdown. That's good news for the midterms for some.
It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, independent. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right?
Yes, the math is mathing, but what is the shutdown doing? Democrats' chances.
And so how do Democrats, how are they positioned right now? Yeah, so, I mean, look, our congressional ballots, traditionally Democrats have done really well on, and if you look at this point back when Trump was president the first time around, Democrats are up 11 points. Look at where it is now. Democrats are ahead, but they're actually only up 3 points. This is, in fact, the worst position Democrats have been on in a hard ballot at this point in the term when there was a Republican president in the last 20 years. And this is no different from pre-shutdown, so Republicans aren't losing on this metric either. They become more popular, and they're holding out a position for them when it comes to the generic congressional ballot. This is a concerning number for Democrats, are you saying? This is a concerning number for Democrats because it's considerably worse than they
I'm gonna log out for a bit.